My name is Michael Potts, and I'm from Troop 625 here in Schuylkill Haven, and I've recently attained the rank of Eagle Scout. Last February, I think it was, we all went camping up at one of our local campsites that we go to annually, and we were making dinner. The younger scouts were preparing a meal as part of a requirement, and it was my brother, and it was a hot potato, and it was cut into little bits, and he took a bite, and it was really hot, so he inhaled, and he got it stuck in his trachea. And luckily, I was standing near him, and he turned to me, and he started gesturing, and I thought he was just being playful at first, but then I realized he was actually choking, and it got very serious very quickly. He didn't know this right away, and then he sort of gestured at his neck, and I figured it out from the lack of words and just the deathly silence that he was choking. And I told him to turn around, and I gave him the Heimlich maneuver, and he coughed a little bit, so I knew it worked, but I didn't want to hurt him, so I told him to bend over, and I gave him a couple thrusts on the back, and that dislodged it, and with a bunch of mucus hanging from his mouth, he gave me a big hug, and we sat down, and everything was all right.
When I found out, I heard that he had choked during the camping trip, but I didn't realize the severity of it. So when we finally realized how severe the choking incident was, I was astounded. I was just floored by the reaction of my older son to be able to give my younger son the Heimlich to be able to save his life. It was just an incredible experience. I'm very, very thankful.
At first, well, no one was there, none of my parents at least were around, or any other adults when I gave my brother the Heimlich maneuver. It was just a couple other scouts. So there weren't any adult figures to understand the severity of the situation. And later, some of my scoutmasters who were helping other scouts at the time turned around and asked me what had happened because they heard a little bit of a commotion. And I told them, and they were very impressed and scared and amazed.
The older scouts are a vital piece of the whole scouting process. They provide that mentorship, and also they provide the scouting skills. The day that my younger son choked, if my older son wasn't there, it could have gone very badly. It was a great thing that the older scouts, my older son, was there with him, so they could go ahead and make that happen. Otherwise, he would probably passed out by the time that the older, or the not older scouts, but also the leadership would have realized, because they were spread out across the field. No leader was there with him when that happened. It was just him and kids of his age. I don't think they would have had the awareness of what to do.
I'm Xavier Martinez. Explorer Post is I want to call it a junior police academy where we explore law enforcement and get to see what they do, hands-on training. Not only with the sheriffs, but it deals with municipal police, tactical, SWAT, state troopers, FBI. July 5th, 2013, we were attending a dinner for my friend who was leaving. The girl that was with us said, "Hey, you guys want to come back? Have a pool party?" We said, "Sure." We all go back to the pool party, and we're in the pool. The levels go from 4 feet, which we were at, and we were playing hoops. They have the hoops in the pool, and then it has a dip that goes from 4 to 6 to 9, and there's a diving board in the 9 feet, obviously. So after we got done playing basketball, everybody decided to go over to the 9 foot. Ife, the friend that I saved, he's 6'2", so he was obviously okay in a 6 foot pool, but the way the dip went, you can slip easily. So as my friends are jumping off the diving board, we're all laughing loud. It's about probably 11 of us, so nobody could hear him. Next thing you know, he slipped and he's in a 9 foot and he can't swim. So I'm sitting on the edge, like you have your feet and sitting on the edge, and I'm watching him, and everybody's just playing, and everybody stops. It's like, is Ife okay? I knew obviously something was wrong, because he was at the bottom like this. So I didn't say anything. I immediately dove in, grabbed him by the waist, tried to pull him out. Everybody there had the shock face on, like, what do I do? And I'm just like, help me get him out. So a couple of my other friends, we all play football. They helped me get him out, and when I brought him to the edge of the pool, I told one of my friends to get a towel, put his head up real quick, Started doing CPR. Probably I'd say about 45 thrusts, and I forget how many breaths it took. But then he finally spit up water, and his eyes opened. They're real white. And then he immediately just went into shock. And prior to that, I obviously told the girl, his name was Sarah, which we were at her house for her, tell her parents to call 911. After he opened his eyes, went into shock, he was with me, he was gripping my hand. And that's when paramedics came. Or first responding officer, then the paramedics came. He became coherent when he was at the hospital. While we were taking him inside of the ambulance, he wasn't yet. He was still kind of like, oh my God, what's going on? At the night of the hospital, all he could do was just thank me. Like he didn't have anything really to say. He didn't know what to say. All he said was thank me. That's it.
Scouting's a very important part of my life. It has been part of my life since I was 6 years old. I remember sitting in the auditorium in a first grade as someone came in and presented and told us about Boy Scouts and what it is. And that night I came home and asked my dad, can I join Boy Scouts? And he said, oh, not can you, but will you? I hadn't known that, I would be the third generation Eagle Scout from my family. And it has taught me so much over the years, different friends, social experiences, life skills in the field with camping, and all sorts of things that I've found useful in ways that I couldn't have even imagined.
I enrolled both my boys in Boy Scouts because I like it. I think it's great for them. It's a fantastic endeavor, and I think it's something for them to look back on and be very proud of when they finally accomplish Eagle Scout and they move on to bigger and better things after school.
If you think about joining the Explorers and then in law enforcement, Explorers is the way to go because no other program gets you that ready with that much experience and with that much glimpse of what to expect if you're doing this career. No other program has that except for the Explorer post.
I've never really been called a hero before in my life. It's sort of a strange concept to me. It's not something I like to think of as myself. It was a moment of reflex, really. I didn't know what I was doing until I had done it. Luckily, my training kicked in, and I'm just happy that my brother's here. I'm not in it for the prestige.
I get that question a lot. How does it feel to be a hero? It feels good, and I thank everybody that's acknowledging me of it, and I like it a lot. And then in a way, it doesn't really faze me because when I get older, it's gonna be my job to save lives every day. And yeah, I saved someone's life during CPR, but you never know what happened, and it's just gonna be my career. So I think of it as, wow, I got a taste of what's gonna happen when I get older, and I responded very well, and I took it very well. Like I'm good under pressure. That's just how I am, and I took that as that was a test, and I passed.